As a constitutional law attorney, former senior legal advisor and personal counsel to President Donald J. Trump, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
I'd like to now welcome to American Family Radio the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And Mr. President, on behalf of our listeners, which represent millions of families and evangelical Christians across the nation that are very grateful to you for your stand on religious freedom, pro-life, liberty, securing our borders, our Constitution, thank you, sir, for fighting for America and for our values.
Well, thank you, Jenna, for all the work you've done. Right from the beginning, I knew you, and you were up front, and you got it right. And so it's an honor to be with you, and good luck with all of this. You're doing really well. Proud of you.
Thank you so much, sir. And we love you. And I want to focus on this interview for your campaign for 2024 and some of the policy initiatives that you're promising us, because you have always made promises and you've kept your promises. And so in terms of the Digital Bill of Rights, you foresaw how big tech was colluding with the deep state to censor the American people. And one of your best policy initiatives so far that I'm excited about is the Digital Bill of Rights. So what are your thoughts on the Twitter files and protecting our right to speak freely in the digital public square?
Well, when you see what happened with, and you can take a look at it in any way, and it's only the ones that have come out. But when you look at the collusion and what took place with the FBI and Twitter files, but this is just a small part of Twitter files, but a very important part, and how they were silenced essentially, and maybe they were doing the silencing. I don't know. But it's the same result, how they were silenced, having to do with all of the corruption that it was done by Democrats on many fronts, but also the whole Hunter Biden laptop from hell. When you see that and when you saw what happened, people were shocked by it, that basically government was controlling free speech, and they were controlling it strongly and saying what you can talk about, what you can't, and they're trying to do it in a polite way. But I guarantee at the time it was done, it wasn't very polite. So when you see that happening, it had a tremendous impact on the election. As you know, John McLaughlin and others, a lot of the great pollsters said 17 points, 17%, which is millions and millions of votes. Now, there were many other ways they cheated also. This is one way. But this was a shocking event to see, and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen again.
With inflation, the banking world collapse, and everything that Joe Biden is doing not to protect America, you need to make sure to secure your financial health, especially in retirement. And hey, if you're a millennial like me, that actually is sooner than you think. You need to start now, even if you are a millennial or a Gen Zer, to make sure that your financial health is actually healthy when we get to retirement. And Legacy Precious Metals has a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in gold and silver online in real time. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped right to your door. You'll have access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar, and this puts you in complete control of your money. The platform is free to sign up for. Visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and against a volatile stock market. A truly diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but different asset classes. This brand new platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Visit legacypm.com to get started. You can download the free investor's guide, and you can also call Legacy PM Investments to talk to a portfolio expert to get expert answers to your to customize your personal portfolio. So visit legacypminvestments.com to get started. Tell them that Jenna sent you. And Mr. President, you also recently said that the woke agenda resembles a new established religion which violates the Establishment Clause and Free Exercise Clause of the Constitution. And you said we can't have that. I think you're absolutely right that the progressive left's view really is a new religion they're trying to impose on everyday Americans. Can you elaborate how you're going to fight this battle?
Well, it is a religion, and we can't allow this to happen. This is not... I think when you're saying religion, you're talking about the fervor. And I can add another thing to it, the environment. You have people that don't know a thing about the environment, and that's become a religion also. And it's a religion that's going to destroy our country with the windmills and all of the things that don't work and don't work well, or they work, but you have to pay 5 times more on your electric bill every month, or you can't get fuel for your car unless you're paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon. And they want to take your gasoline cars away. They want to take the mode of transportation. They want to give you all electric so that you have the privilege of driving an hour and a half before you have to load up again. It's crazy what's going on. No, we can't allow it. Woke. The word woke is a very big word because it means a lot of things to a lot of people. But it also means a lack of freedom of speech because they want you to stop. You know, I said in a speech the other day, the first time I used it, it's like April Fool's Day every day during the Biden administration. They want open borders. They should be closed. April Fool's Day. They don't want voter ID. You should have voter ID. It's April Fool's Day. Everything's like the opposite. They want you to have all electric cars. They don't want you to have gas stoves. It's crazy what they're doing. And they're destroying this country. They're destroying it. When they allow people to come in by the millions and millions where prisons are being emptied from other countries, by the way, very smart of them to do that, and being sent into the United States, when the mental institutions of other countries are being emptied, totally emptied, and sent into the United States, the people that were there are being sent into the United States. That's April Fool's Day, because who would ever think that this is possible? They actually do the opposite. I believe you're going to have 15 million people in this country within a very short period of time, not 3 million like they talk about. Those people rushing the borders and invading the country, I believe it's 15 million people. That's bigger than New York State. And I think that if somebody doesn't get out and talk about it and do something about it, we had the safest border in the history of our country, and that included drugs. Drugs were down by massive numbers. Now the drugs are 9 or 10 times higher than they were just 2 years ago, pouring in and killing our children and our families and destroying the lifeblood of our country. And you have to talk about it, and you have to talk, and then you have to get somebody in office like me that's going to do something about it, because I did something. You know, a lot of people say, oh, we'd love to have the Trump policy maybe, but with somebody nicer. I'm actually very nice, but you can't be too nice when you're trying to stop people from invading your country and destroying your country. So you have to get somebody in there that's going to do something about it. We had the safest border. We had the best numbers on drugs, I believe, in 30 years, 32 years. We have now many, many times the amount of drugs pouring into our country that we had just 2 years ago. So we have an election coming up, and it's going to truly be one of the most important elections. I think it's going to be a life or death election. I think it's going to either save our country, or our country is going to go into an abyss like nobody has ever seen. And once that happens, it will never be saved.
I think you're absolutely right, Mr. President. And, you know, you and I have spoken at length about how even just in the last 2 years, Joe Biden has completely transformed America into an unrecognizable country. And I think any rational person who says, were you better off under Donald Trump than you are under Joe Biden? No rational person, I don't care what party, can say that they are better off now. And he is poised to announce a re-election campaign. Can the country even survive the next 2 years until 2024, or potentially another 6 years under these radical Democrat policies?
Well, 2 years is not going to be easy. 6 years you don't even want to discuss, because there's zero chance. But 2 years is not going to be easy. I passed the largest tax cuts in history. They want to quadruple your taxes. They're going to quadruple your taxes and take away things that, which is the same thing. When they take away your cars, when they take away your stoves, when they take away all of the different things, your washing machines. Let's have washing machines with no water. We don't want to give you water, even though we have plenty of water in large sections of this country. There's no reason for this. Put restrictors on so they essentially don't work. You know what people do? They run the washing machines 9 times instead of once, and they end up using more water. No, I mean, these policies are policies of no common sense. But the big thing is what's happening with the military. You mentioned the word woke. They want a woke military instead of a great military. Everything is changing so drastically. Now, 6 years will be the end of the country. 2 years is not going to be easy. It's 2 years. Think about the taxes. So I gave you the biggest tax cuts in history, the biggest regulation cuts in history. They want to put back all the regulations, which will destroy a lot of the companies that were able to thrive and hire people. And they want to increase your taxes by many times. How is this good?
It's not. And I think any rational person would agree with you. And I agree with you that there is no way that anyone should be voting for Democrats to be in charge for another 6 years. I mean, and you were right that the 2024 election is going to be life or death for America. And so for the Republican side, of course, you are the undisputed head of the Republican Party, yet there are other candidates that are coming for the party's nomination. And, sir, you've welcomed challengers like Nikki Haley, but you've also told other potential challengers like Governor Ron DeSantis to stay out. So what is your thought and your metric on how you are still going to be the undisputed head and why all of the Republicans should rally around and support you for the nomination?
Yeah, well, I never told DeSantis to stay out. He's got to do what he's got to do. I just let people know, because I believe in loyalty, that he was at like 3%. He was dead in politics. He was never going to be in office. He was getting ready to leave the race, and he came over and asked whether or not it would be possible for me to endorse him. And for whatever reason, I did endorse him, and he ended up going up like a rocket ship, and he won that election. Then I got him through their big star was going to be the gentleman that he beat, as you know, in the general election. So he won the primary. He was way behind Adam Putnam, who was the head of agriculture in the state of Florida. Very good guy, but I didn't know him, so I had no real compunction. I knew Ron a little bit, not that much, but he was one of many, many people that fought for me on impeachment hoax number 1 and the Mueller hoax, which was another hoax. There were a lot of hoaxes, and that's what they try and do. They try and close up the people that are doing the right thing for the country, because I believe they actually hate the country. So when I endorsed him, he was like a rocket ship. He ended up getting coming back from like a 30 or 40-point deficit, and in a short period of time, he ends up getting the nomination, which he never would have gotten. He would have dropped out. He was getting ready to. He would have dropped out very quickly, and that was number 1. And then I got him through held rallies, and we had tremendous crowds at the rallies, and he ended up beating a guy that he wasn't supposed to beat because of me. And then he runs. So, I call that disloyalty, but I have no problem. He's going to have to do what he has to do. But I think, I'm a very big believer in loyalty. Somebody gets you in, you sort of be loyal to that person, especially when that person it was just reported today somewhere that one of the most important presidents ever, and the things we did with the tax cuts, with rebuilding the military. We built the United States military. We were flying around on 48-year-old jet fighters, and we had a military that was collapsing. And I rebuilt the entire United States military. Right to try, if you look at that. Regulations, taking all the regulations that were such a waste. We've got a massive number. That's why the economy was just absolutely booming. The new group wants to put them back. But all of the different things that we've done, and, I think to me loyalty is a very important word. But you could look at Nikki Haley also. Look, she said, I would never run against our president. And I guess she's going to announce this week or next week. And they have to do what they have to do. It's okay. I think when people look at the record we had the greatest economy in history. Our military was strong. We were respected all over the world. Ukraine would have never been invaded by Russia. Taiwan would never be invaded by China if that happens, which it might. All of these things, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, that was going to be a war, and I ended up doing a great job with that one, too. And we had an understanding, he and I, and it saved a lot of lives because you're talking about big stuff with nuclear. So, all of the things that I did, and far too many to discuss on your short call, but all of the things that we've done, we're getting a lot of great praise. And you take a look at the right to life issue. So I put on 3 Supreme Court judges, over 300 judges. Our whole court system is different than it was. Look at the Ninth Circuit, but just so different than what it was. It's 3 great Supreme Court judges, and because justices, and because of the fact that I did that, you have a whole new world out there. And, very few people have done what I've done, and very few administrations have made the impact that the Trump administration made. And then we had an election which, as you know, was rigged. It was a rigged election, and it's a disgrace that it can happen. And we're like a third world country. And right now we're leading in all the polls. We're leading very, very big in the Republican Party, and we're beating Biden very easily.
Yes, indeed, sir. And I think a lot of people forget how close we came to losing the free state of Florida. And how close we came to losing the free state of Florida. And without your endorsement, then it is likely that Ron DeSantis would have never come into Florida. And without the Supreme Court justices, we would have never gotten to the overturning of Roe versus Wade. I mean, all of these things are because of you and because you stood strongly and you stood firmly. And I think the American people really do know that. And looking ahead to 2024, you have so many great accomplishments from your first term, and I do believe that the judicial branch transformation back to conservative justices will be the greatest impact of your legacy of your first term. What do you want to be the greatest legacy of your second term?
Well, we built the strongest border. We got the strongest border, and I worked with Mexico, and we had to stay in Mexico. Can you imagine Mexico even approving that? But they really had to. And I had a stay in Mexico policy where criminals aren't allowed into our country and where a lot of bad people are not allowed into our country. And nobody was allowed until they got checked out. And nobody thought that was possible. I was able to get that done very strongly. And these people want to give it up, which is why there can only be 2 reasons. They're stupid or they hate our country. Can only be, and I don't think they're stupid because you can't be stupid and cheat in elections as well as they do, okay? So it must be that they hate our country. But you look at all of the things that we've done for the border, we're going to have to straighten that situation out. That would be one of the very early things. We have to bring back the economy. We have to go back to getting to becoming energy independent, which we no longer are. I filled up the strategic reserves, and he lowered the strategic reserves to a level that hasn't been for 50 years in order to try and win an election because they had the election coming up and gas prices were through the roof. So it's very artificial. But right now it's hitting new lows in terms of what I got it filled up. I made phenomenal deals on oil at the lowest point, and we filled it up. Something hadn't been done for 54 years. And all of the things that we've done, we're going to have to redo some of them. Some of them have been able to stay. It's very hard for them to break our tax. We got the low taxes. Very hard for them to be able to make that situation take hold. They'd like to increase it by 4 or 5 times, if you can believe that. But the economy, if that happened, will crash like nobody's ever seen. And it's already crashed. Last year, they had one of the worst years in the history of the stock markets because the economic recovery is terrible. Unemployment numbers are actually terrible. People aren't looking for jobs, so they don't count them in the numbers. So then you see 3.5%, but they don't count people that are no longer in the job market because they're not looking for jobs for all the wrong reasons. So we want to get the economy strong. We had the strongest economy in history. And I actually did it twice. I did it pre-COVID, and then I did it again after COVID. And we did a phenomenal job on COVID. And the job we did, people are just starting to see what a great job we did. And therapeutically, with therapeutics, we did a fantastic thing with Regeneron and so many others. So we're going to have to get it back. We're going to have to make our borders strong again. We're going to have to take criminals out of our country because we have hundreds of thousands of criminals roaming through our country right now. Mental patients, criminals. It's not murderers, rapists. They're roaming through our country right now, free at will. You know, if you want to become a citizen of the United States, it's very hard. You have to go through. You have to take tests. And people are calling me all the time, how do you do the process? And frankly, I don't say this, but a lot of people do. Go to the southern border and just walk into the country. It's ridiculous.
It is. Yes, sir. Well, I so appreciate, Mr. President, the time and opportunity that you took for this interview and this call. And just the very last question I have for you, we have to address election integrity. And that is the number one question that I still get from very concerned citizens out there saying, we want Donald Trump back in office. We want all of this, but how are we going to get there with such a corrupted system? So what is the plan that you want for the states, and how can the millions of American families that are listening into this that care about that, what would you tell them to do as an action item that they can help affect change and protect our elections?
So it's a great question because, as you know, they try and fake you into not discussing it. Oh, people don't want to hear about that. It's the number one question. And frankly, it's in a way the most important question because if you have rigged elections like we had, they used COVID in order to cheat. And they had fake ballots in many other ways. Even the FBI colluding with Twitter and with Facebook and everything else. You look at all the ways they cheated, and it didn't take many. Frankly, there were many different ways that they cheated, all of which would have amounted to a very easy victory because we did phenomenal. Got more votes than anybody, any sitting president in history, many more than we got the first time. I mean, we ran better than we did the first time, but it was a horrible rigged system, and it can't be allowed to happen. The Republicans are getting much stronger on it. They see the problem. And once you see the problem, you can do things about it. They didn't see the problem. We got them by surprise in 2016, and then they worked on a system of cheating, the likes of which nobody, like a third world country. But the Republicans see the problem, and that problem is being rectified.
Yes, sir. Well, continue to talk about it. It is the number one question that I still get, and I thank you, sir, for your championing of America and for fighting for families, for fighting against the crazy woke agenda. Keep up the good work, and thank you so much. It was an honor and privilege to serve on your campaign and to support you. And so thank you for taking the time for this interview today, and hopefully you'll be back on soon.
Well, thank you very much, Jenna. Great honor for me, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
With inflation, the banking world collapse, and everything that Joe Biden is doing not to protect America, you need to make sure to secure your financial health, especially in retirement. And hey, if you're a millennial like me, that actually is sooner than you think. You need to start now, even if you are a millennial or a Gen Zer, to make sure that your financial health is actually healthy when we get to retirement. And Legacy Precious Metals has a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in gold and silver online in real time. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped right to your door. You'll have access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar, and this puts you in complete control of your money. The platform is free to sign up for. Visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and against a volatile stock market. A truly diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but different asset classes. This brand new platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Visit legacypm.com to get started. You can download the free investor's guide, and you can also call Legacy PM Investments to talk to a portfolio expert to get expert answers to your to customize your personal portfolio. So visit legacypminvestments.com to get started. Tell them that Jenna sent you. Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt so soft in the store, but then when you leave and you go to use it, it's not really that absorbent? It's basically a towel that is leaving you out to dry. That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels, towels that actually work. I know, it's totally mind-blowing. Towels that actually dry you. Their 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. They come in a variety of colors. I have the sage green and the white. I love them. And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code Jenna. That's JENNA. So go to mypillow.com right now and click on the radio listeners special. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty and have a 60-day money-back guarantee. So to receive this amazing offer on the 6-piece towel set of MyPillow towels, just go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and enter promo code Jenna, that's JENNA, or call 1-800-564-8475. That's mypillow.com, promo code Jenna.